The morning fog draped over my vineyard in Sonoma County, California, like a shroud hiding a secret about to unravel. I stood among my Cabernet vines, running my calloused hands over the grape clusters I'd nurtured all season, each one a testament to my family's legacy. My grandfather's words echoed in my mind. This land has fed 3 generations, James. Guard it with everything you've got. The faded wooden sign reading Carver Vineyard, Est. 1952-inch stood as a quiet sentinel, its weathered letters carrying the weight of decades. These 12 tons of grapes weren't just a harvest, they were my shot at a contract with one of Napa's top wineries, a deal that could secure my family's future. My daughter, Lily, 21 and sharp as a tack, was on the porch, setting up her usual morning TikTok stream before her Berkeley law classes. Her grin, a mix of her mother's wit and my stubborn fire, hinted she was ready to capture something big. She had no idea how right she was. The growl of engines shattered the stillness. A gleaming black Cadillac Escalade rolled down my gravel drive, followed by 2 white pickups emblazoned with Silver Oaks HOA security in bold, self-important letters. My pulse didn't quicken. 30 years of fending off bureaucrats and corporate sharks had taught me to stay cool. Out stepped Margaret Hensley, chairwoman of the Silver Oaks Homeowners Association, dressed like she was auditioning for a Wall Street boardroom, not a dusty vineyard at dawn. Her blonde bob was flawless, her designer's sunglasses glinted, and her tailored suit screamed money. Flanked by 2 security guards, Tom, a gym rat wannabe cop, and Greg, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, she carried the smug confidence of someone who'd never lifted a finger but loved judging those who did. "Mr. Carver," Margaret announced, her voice dripping with artificial authority, "your grapes violate our community agricultural standards. We're impounding them for inspection." She waved a thick folder of official-looking documents, HOA logos stamped on every page, brimming with legal jargon designed to intimidate. I glanced at Lily, who'd lowered her phone but kept it rolling, her law school instincts kicking in. She switched her stream title to HOA Stealing Our Harvest Live, and the viewer count began to climb. I asked for a court order, keeping my tone steady. Margaret's smile widened, predatory. "We don't need one, Mr. Carver. The HOA's 2024 ordinance grants us emergency powers." She nodded to Tom and Greg, who moved toward my crates with practiced efficiency. Greg fumbled a crate, grapes spilling across the ground, purple juice staining Margaret's pristine shoes. Her shriek could have shattered glass, but they kept loading, crate after crate, onto their truck. I sent a quick text. Phase 1 started. "Ready?" The reply was instant, standing by. I felt the crinkle of papers in my pocket, ones I'd carried for months, waiting for this moment. Margaret, oblivious, was taking selfies with my grapes, posting her victory online. Tom slammed the truck's tailgate, boasting to Greg, 30 years in security, and this guy's making it too easy. But they didn't know what was coming. I'd let them play their game for exactly 10 minutes, watching them haul my life's work with the arrogance of people who thought they were untouchable. Patience, strategy, timing, I'd learned them all, and now it was time to strike. As my watch hit the 10-minute mark, I stepped forward. "Enjoy your moment, Margaret," I said, my voice low but sharp enough for Lily's camera. "Because in 30 seconds, you'll learn what ownership really means." Her smug grin faltered. The fog was lifting, revealing a steel gate 50 yards away. I unlocked it with deliberate calm, and it swung open with a groan, unveiling a massive sign. Sonoma Federal Agricultural Storage Facility, U.S. Department of Agriculture. Federal licensing required for all agricultural transport within 50 miles. The fine print listed codes and penalties for tampering with regulated crops. Margaret's face drained of color, her confidence evaporating. "Impossible," she stammered. I checked every record. I stepped closer to the truck. "Margaret, those grapes are federally regulated. Every one requires processing through this facility for interstate commerce compliance." Tom and Greg exchanged panicked glances, Greg muttering, "We should have checked this guy's background." That's when Daniel Carter emerged from behind the facility, briefcase in hand, a former insider at Crestwood Beverages with a score to settle. "Sorry to crash your theft," he said, his voice carrying courtroom weight. "But you're dealing with the wrong guy." Lily's stream had jumped to YouTube, her viewer count soaring as comments exploded with outrage. Daniel opened his briefcase, pulling out a stack of documents. Margaret, remember me? Senior logistics coordinator at Crestwood until they fired me for having a conscience. I kept copies of every emails, contracts, your deals to seize James's grapes for 30% below market. He held up a USB drive. This has your phone call from last Tuesday, planning to cite James for agricultural abandonment to force a sale. He played the recording, Margaret's voice clear. Once we get Carver's grapes, Crestwood gets them cheap, and I get my commission. The crowd now, including local farmers Maria Lopez, David Chun, and Bill Turner, all victims of Margaret's schemes, gasped. Lily's stream hit thousands, trending globally with hashtags demanding justice. Sirens wailed in the distance, not just local police, but the unmistakable sound of a federal task force. Sheriff Mark Reynolds arrived, followed by black SUVs with federal plates. Agent Laura Bennett stepped out, FBI badge gleaming. Margaret Hensley, you're under arrest for conspiracy, wire fraud, and violating federal agricultural regulations, she said, reading Miranda rights as Margaret's world collapsed. I'd been working with the FBI for 3 months, feeding them every move Margaret made. Her fake paperwork, threats, all documented. Margaret screamed, "This is a setup." Carver bribed them. But Laura was unfazed, cuffing her with precision. The real bombshell came when I unrolled a 6-foot-wide map across Laura's SUV. It showed I owned 78% of the agricultural land in a 15-mile radius, bought over years to save farms Margaret had targeted. Maria, David, and Bill stared, realizing I'd been their anonymous buyer, keeping their legacies alive. I didn't just acquire this land, I told Laura. I saved it from her. Then I revealed my past. 23 years as CEO of Continental Agricultural Logistics, a Fortune 500 company. Margaret hadn't robbed a simple farmer's cross someone who'd written the book on agricultural law. 2 weeks later, in Sonoma County Superior Court, Judge Evelyn Carter sentenced Margaret to 18 months in prison and $3.2 million in restitution. Crestwood Beverages collapsed under lawsuits and fines, their assets auctioned off. I bought their facilities for 8% of their value, turning them into hubs for our new Sonoma Farmers Alliance. Lily Streams had made her a citizen journalism star, her footage a case study in exposing corruption. Maria led the alliance, David replanted his vineyard, and Bill's orchard thrived as a tourist spot. The Sullivan Preservation Trust, funded by restitution, ensured no farm would face Margaret's greed again. As the sun set over my vineyard, Lily and I stood by my grandfather's grave, a cluster of Cabernet grapes on his headstone. "You'd be proud, Grandpa," I whispered. "We didn't just save our land, we saved everyone's." Margaret thought she'd steal from a farmer, but she'd awakened a giant. Her greed united a community, proving that sometimes the quiet ones hit hardest.